to say. It's just like, what do you say?
There's only one question I think remains to be answered from Liverpool this season. Is can they emulate Arsenal and go through the whole Premier League season unbeaten? The league's done. So whether they win or draw or lose from now on, the only question unanswered is will they become an invincible?
I heard the most ridiculous conversation the other day about whether Liverpool supporters would like to do a treble this year.
Yeah, we said mention that.
Or go unbeaten. I mean, that's not even a
question,
debate, is it?
Well, no. I think what you're saying there, Andy, about going unbeaten, it would be nice, but I mentioned at the top of the show, I think we've got some great kids coming through, as you've seen against Everton in the FA Cup. Sorry, I mean Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott. We've got Adam Lewis there as well.
That, didn't you?
Sorry, I know. I'm sorry, but I think Jurgen would love to get them some Premier League experience. So if we were to win the league, I don't know, middle of April, he would play the kids. He'd let them go, and he'd let them have a go. And obviously that would, it would weaken the team. And at the end of the season, teams are battling for points, and just think
that team you're talking about will play at the weekend. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. That's a certainty. It assures me it'll be a team like the team that played against Everton.
It's the same team.
They'll play the kids. All these boys. I think one or two looked to me. Salah looked like he could do with a few days off, and maybe we don't know about Mane's injury. Firmino, he just always looks like he plays, but there's one or two just look like they could do with a little breather, and I think they'll get the opportunity at the weekend.
Well, he's got lots of players back. Matip will play. Lovren might be fit. He's obviously got Minamino's played a lot tonight, but he'll play.
That's your first choice too, though, isn't it? The two that we saw tonight in the centre of defence.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah, you can't change that. He's grown in confidence, Joe, since he's come back. I mean, although it wasn't a clean sheet tonight, there's I think 7 on the spin. I think Joe's been involved in 6.
Yeah, he has.
He's got pace to burn. He's got a great partnership with Virgil van Dijk. He's such a calming influence as well. It's going to be tough for Matt.
It's interesting to know about just on that goal with Jordan Henderson, because Espirito Santo, he's very much attention to detail coach and everything like that, Richard. And yet every single set play, every corner, Jordan Henderson was free. Even after that was in 7.5 minutes, 8 minutes, and yet they never addressed that problem. Got on the end of one, beginning of the second half, our first corner they had, nearly scored with that. And the edge of the box, they almost picked him out with a clever corner late on. Nobody near him. They never quite sorted it out, but they were a different team second half. They were
I was interested in what Jim Beglin said, that Andy Robertson's levels have dropped. Playing against Adama Traore, given for saying, well, he's had a bad night, but is that a general thing?
I can understand what Jim's saying. I think his level has dropped off. I think United, he was, from his standards, was poor. I think tonight as well, he was tested, by the pace of Traore. I think as well, Richard, it's probably one of the only positions where he hasn't got.
What a good goal.
He hasn't got proper cover. Every other position he can, midfield he can rotate players and chop and change it.
Just
right back he can change.
This goal. Watch Raul Jimenez. He's on the halfway line. And just look at his contribution to this. First, comes short to get involved, chest. Then spins away, gets the ball again. Second involvement. Good enough to skip past Robertson and play Adama Traore in. But is he satisfied with that? No, he's not. Can Traore do it? A centre forward who can head the ball once, just dink one over the first defender. Many times I say to you, Richard, I hate the fact that so many people get where Traore is and hit the first defender. Well, look at the way he stands it up beautifully. Joe Gomez is taken out the play because he just flips it over him, and Jimenez produces a fantastic header. Do you know what? It was a super goal.
Sometimes, you've got to hold your hand up sometimes and say that was a fantastic goal.
Yes,
I think in the media we look at, you look at some of the lads who are out there who are defenders and stuff. They pick the bones out of how bad that was defended. And they'll go, well, he should have gone tight with him, and he could have gone, and he could have done this, and that was, he could have been close.
I can tell you, Jason, I've lost count of the number of times down the years that my mate has said, just enjoy the goal, because it really was there to be enjoyed.
Sometimes I'm being a centre forward, right? So I know in there, defenders cannot mark you everywhere. You've been a defender, you know it's impossible. Disappears off the front too. He skips past Robertson, so then Van Dijk's got a problem. He has to come to Traore. That leaves Joe Gomez. His natural instinct for Gomez is to go near post.
Liverpool are set up really well.
Set up, no problem.
They've got numbers back, they've got a good position.
It's from here, Jason. When he skips past Robertson, there's the problem he gets, because as Van Dijk comes out, so Gomez has to mark the front post. And if you're a centre forward like Jimenez, you're not going to get near Gomez near post. You're going to leave him there, and you're going to say to your mate, you know where I want it, just dink it over him, and I'm going to come in and head it. And somebody might say, well, Trent Alexander-Arnold should have been round, but he's got to give himself a bit of a chance with who's behind him.
Exactly.
So it's a
bit of a gamble, isn't it, what you do?
Yeah.
But what I will say as well is being in that position, putting balls in, that was a fantastic cross. I mean, he's just stood it in, and like we said, the amount of times they're getting in that area and they want to drive it across, drill it across. He just stood it up lovely. I mean, for the centre forward,
that was perfect for him.
I mean, we've had conversations with Arsene Wenger here, and I think, Andy, we are of the same view. Domestic broadcasters pay billions of pounds for the rights and then set about destroying it on a weekly basis. That for me, I've never understood. Never understood.
Well, just enjoy it sometimes. I mean,
although I am going to criticise one of the Wolves defenders here in this one. And I mean, they get a little bit of luck at the edge of the box here, Liverpool. The ball could bounce anywhere, and it bounces back to there. So that's a great ball. But when he shifts it inside, I just think the defender coming back, I'm not quite sure who it is, when Firmino moves it, then he's got to go to ground for me. He's got to get in front of him. He just puts a lazy foot out.
You've got to put everything on the line there.
You've got to go to ground and get a block on it.
Can't we concentrate on the ball from Henderson and the sharpness of the
you can't
the little pass through?
It's a fantastic goal, by a great feat from
terrific goal.
But I do agree with that. See, that was an occasion a defender could have
done better.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, fantastic. Firmino's little shift and hit, brilliant. But the defender could have affected it.
2-1, Liverpool, 16 points clear. Here's the coach.
Jurgen, many congratulations. The game was every bit as difficult as you probably would have imagined.
100%. So it's we scored a wonderful goal with a lot of good possession, a lot of good things, but the setup for Wolves is really good, I have to say. What Nuno is doing here is so different to pretty much everything what everybody's doing in Europe in football. Yes, it's about counter-attacking, but it's as well in possession. They have a proper plan for possession, so it's like really using the width of the pitch. And then if you bring Traoré on the ball, we spoke about it in the dressing room, we thought he's unplayable in moments. I think he only can knock himself down with I don't know, it's really unbelievable. And then the crosses become better and better. He's involved in more and more games. Like really, what a player. It's not only him, but of course that makes then all the difference, because the rest is pretty much to defend, but when he has the ball, then you have just to hope that the crosses doesn't find anybody. So 1.5 time, they score a goal from a counter-attack, which makes not too much sense when you're 1-0 up, but it's the situation. That's what they are strong in. We accept that. A couple of more minutes, Wolves in charge of the game, but then we could calm it down again. We had only the problem that it wasn't 100% clear what we wanted to do, obviously. Like you just saw it when Trent, such a positive, optimistic, offensive approach, so he's still searching for solutions, but we don't have the real offers anymore. We changed the system 2-3 times, and so then in these moments you have to control it. In these moments you have just to keep the ball, because they let us play until the final third. There we lost the ball, counter-attack again. So, but then, how I said, we calmed it down. We had incredible chances first half, second half, 1-1 on the goalie. I don't know how often, 3-4 times for sure, 1-1 on the goalie. And then Bobby, magic moment, Bobby Firmino, and fires the ball in the far corner, which makes sense, obviously, and the rest was a big fight and all good.
You always seem to find someone, you always seem to find a way to win. So many times this game, so many games this season you've won by a single goal. That takes great mental resolve as well, I would imagine.
Yeah, but you saw today, it's not, the boys are humans, good, because you see it's like a little bit like this. It's not we get to concede a goal and no problem. There were moments when we were impressed by that, and when we had conversations or discussions on the pitch, you saw that. There's a lot, how I say always, there's so much to improve. Just the basis is so nice. And then, how I said, each set piece can bring us back in the game. One pressing situation brings us back in the game. One ball we win in the right moment. Because it was clear that Wolves will not So like after the goal, I don't know exactly, maybe 5-10 minutes, but were really strong. But it was clear that it will settle again. And in these moments, you have to be, until then, you have to defend. Then you have to use the size of the pitch as well. More offered constantly these runs behind. That was a little bit a problem. When Sadio, which is obviously very average, that he had to go off. Hopefully it's not too difficult or too bad, but we will see that tomorrow.
Can I just ask, what was it, a muscle tweak?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, for everybody in that moment of the season, of course. So then we brought on Taki, because we switched in the game between in the defending in a 4-4-2, offensively in a 4-3-3, and so Div could have come as well, but then it's only a 4-3-3 pretty much, and so that's why I decided for Taki. He did well, but we've missed one player for the balls in behind. That was then Ox in the second half. So and then change again in a 4-5-1, which helped them again. All these things. That was just a game. You have to find a way to win. You have to stay in the game. You have to be stable, and then you need somebody who makes a perfect decision. In this case, it was Bobby again.
Thank you, and well done. Thank you.
Yeah, very well done. What, excuse me, what can Wolves say they took from that?
I thought they played well, particularly second half. I think Andy made a point. We were talking, the full-backs we mentioned were going to play a crucial, or the wing-backs were going to play a crucial part in today's game. The first half they were a little bit deeper than probably what they liked, but that was maybe to keep Liverpool quite quiet. But the second half they come out, they were higher up the pitch, they pushed Robertson and Arnold back. They were more expansive going forward, and they created lots of chances. He was a handful all night, put some decent balls.
Wolves, what can they take from it, Richard? Same again, another really good performance and a really busy. Wolves, what can they take from it, Richard? Same again, another really good performance and a really busy. Still energy levels still look fantastic. The players still look full of life, full of belief. We heard Jurgen there talk about them. They play a certain way, which is different from most teams in the Premier League, and they're very, very good at it. Very good at it. They weren't so good at it first half, which is the norm. They kind of stay in games against the big teams.
Liverpool.
Don't be out the game. But second half, he lets them loose a little bit more, and we've seen that a lot this season. And like today, they were very good second half.
There's an FA Cup replay being played tonight. Tranmere Rovers against Watford, 3-3. You'll recall. I think in the first leg it was postponed when they tried to replay it a short time back. But Tranmere 2-1 up in extra time it is now, extra time against Watford, and the prize of course is to play Manchester United. This is what's upcoming with us, FA Cup 4th round day. All these games live, channel choices to the right hand side. Jurgen Klopp of course saying this week, no more replays please. Pep Guardiola saying no more Carabao Cup please. One way or another we have to find a solution to an awful lot of football that in a modern era is seeing the likes of Rashford and Kane and Tammy Abraham and
Vardy,
Jamie Vardy
and Mane.
Just looking there, that's if Tranmere go on and win the game. Manchester United at Prenton Park, that's not going to be a nice game for Man United, I tell you. Ollie's going to be like, oh.
Have you seen the state of that pitch recently? Prenton.
It's never changed, but it's collapsed.
Oh,
they reckon it's collapsed underneath. It's kind of there's something underneath that supports it, and they reckon that's collapsed, and they've just put loads of sand on it and rolled it.
Excellent.
It is. It really is
New Brighton.
Excellent.
It's like New Brighton.
It is like New Brighton. For those of you who know that part of the world, not Brighton, New.